Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the expansion Boston Blazers. We are through the first month of our third season, and we are 11-13. You can see by looking at our team stats, we are not a very good hitting team. We are not a very good pitching team. Yet somehow we are, 11-13. I don't get it, but I'm not going to question it. We'll take a quick dive into the stats, and then I will probably sim through May, and we'll come back if there were any deals and anything. I want to get through July in this one. So you can see offensively, it's weird. Shohei Ohtani, last year he hit, but he didn't pitch. This year he's pitching, but he's not hitting. So you can see he's got an ERA of 4. He's already at half his WAR of last year in 5 starts, but he's a negative WAR batter right now. So hopefully he turns that around. Really, the only player who is overperforming right now is Ryan Jeffers. I guess Tom is hitting really well, too, in limited playing time, as is Magnum. So 2 of our backup outfielders are doing better than our starters, which is something we should probably address right now. So let's do that. Let's put, I forgot that we had Lorenzo Cain. Let's get Cain out there as our starting center fielder and get Magnum as our backup right now, and we will just let Fraley sit on the bench for the time being. But Jeffers is really the only offensive player who's overperforming as a starter. You can see some of our bench players are doing okay. Tom is hitting pretty well. Magnum's hitting pretty well. Vientos, our Rule 5 guy, is hitting pretty well. But other than that, it's been basically a train wreck. Fraley is negative 0.6 WAR. Urena negative 0.3. Ohtani negative 0.2. Cortez negative 0.1. And this one's a little disappointing. With his ratings, I suspected that he would be a better hitter than this. But so far not so good. So we'll just have to see how the rest of the season goes. And somebody made a comment last time that because he's so short that he wouldn't make a good first baseman. I don't know. Logically, that makes sense, right? From a real major, and I didn't even notice that when I made him a first baseman. But in real Major League Baseball, yeah, you wouldn't normally have a 5'7" first baseman. But here, it doesn't really seem to be hurting him that much. He's slightly below average, but his ratings suggest that he would be a slightly below average first baseman. Given that we don't have the DH, I don't really have another home for him because he's not going to start over Simeon at second. And he's not going to start over Kiner-Falefa at short. So for now, I think we just leave him there. Maybe the DH will be implemented and we'll have a different home for him, or we can make him a second baseman once Simeon moves on. I don't really know. From a pitching perspective, it's been just as ugly. Ohtani's pitching relatively well. Sandoval, it's all small sample size, right? Especially with some of the bullpen arms. But Hernandez, his FIP is 2.5, his ERA is 4.8. So he hasn't been bad. His WHIP is high, but 16 strikeouts per 9. Sonny Gray's been pretty consistent so far. And then, you can just kind of see it's been kind of ugly here otherwise. Ian Hamilton's given up 19 hits in 9 innings. Even Ryan Presley, who we signed to be our closer, has got an ERA of 7 so far in 9 innings, although he does have 6 saves. So 3 losses already, though, so that's not good. So I think, I don't want to overreact and say it's May 1st, I'm going to trade everybody. But I'm going to sim through the month of May, and if I can find a deal for, I don't know. I'd hate to move away on from Brady Singer, but he's fragile. He's extreme ground ball pitcher, which you guys know is my type. I don't know if we can find a taker for Brady Singer or Patrick Sandoval or Presley or somebody like that, then we might take it. Offensively, I don't know. Jeffers is playing so well right now that I don't want to give up on him. He had a really good season last year. He's only 25. I don't want to give up on Ohtani because he's sort of the marquee player in our lineup. Kiner-Falefa I love. I think his ratings and his defense are going to play really well for us in the middle infield for a couple of years. I wouldn't be against moving Simeon. He signed, 1 more year after this? Yeah. So his contract's not unmovable. Larnach, I'd like to see if he can kind of bounce out of this, given the year that he had last year. But again, with him being 26, a lot of these guys probably won't be around when we're finally good. You know, once players like Angelo Cantero are up, or some of these other players who are, 19, 20, 21 years old. So I'm not averse to moving anybody. I would like to hold on to Ohtani because he's kind of the face of the franchise right now. And for realism's sake, I'd hate to move him. But pretty much anybody else is movable given the right deal. So I'm going to go ahead and sim until the end of May. So we'll come back on June 1st. It's either going to be a really quick update, I didn't do anything, and here are some interesting notes, or we'll take a look at some of the deals we made. So hang tight. I'll be back in a month. All right, we're back. It's June 1st, and look at our record. We're 29-23. We went 18-10 in May. We're in second place. We're 2 games out of first place. And I want to look at... Oh, wow. I want to look at both of these last 2 games. 10-4 and 10-2. Cortez had just a great month. 346, 409, 510. Jeffers has 3 more hits. Locane. I moved him into the starting lineup, and he's hitting 296. He was 5 for 24 in April. Hit 316 in May. Ohtani currently leads the National League in victories. I'll show you guys that in a second with 7. And then we won the final game of the month 10-2. Kind of Leif is up to 281. Ohtani's at 220. Larnach still not hitting. Bryant having himself sort of a resurgent year here. On pace for 28 home runs, 87 knocked in, having a much better year than he had last year. Sonny Gray has 7 wins as well, and an NL leading 2.39 ERA. I don't suspect that it'll last, but so far so good. Let's take a look and see if any of our young players have improved. William Contreras, who we called up as our backup catcher this year, is doing fairly well. Jeffers is... we'll look at the stats in a minute. I'm just looking at ratings. Alexis Ramirez was a trade. We picked him up from Milwaukee last year for Austin Dean. And he looks like he's getting better here. That's nice. 2-pitch pitcher. But so far so good there. Casey Sauk was a draft pick, our 4th-round pick in 2021. A bit of a two-way player. Not great, but not great at either, but looks like he could be a decent infield bat. And then Cantero is our number 1 prospect, number 3 prospect in the game. He's only 16, so he's still got a ways to go. So you can see offensively, we're still not great, but we're better than we were, and our pitching has been much better. And we will start with said pitching. So, Shohei Ohtani, 7-3, 82 strikeouts in 66 innings, a sub-4 ERA. He's been great, 1.23 ERA plus. Sandoval, he's 1-1, 4.3 ERA, but a 3.81 FIP, and he's been above average, ERA plus 105. Sonny Gray's been terrific, only 42 hits allowed in 64 innings. His FIP suggests, and the low BABIP suggests he's gotten lucky. So I would anticipate that the numbers will regress, but we'll ride it here as long as we can. Frankie Montas has been as expected. His ERA and his FIP are close. The BABIP is pretty much at league average. Alvarado has been fantastic this year. Last year, or was it last year or the year before? Yeah, it was 2 years ago. He walked 52 in 57 innings in our first season. This year he's at 7 walks in 19 innings, along with 30 strikeouts. So he's been really good. Fleming has been okay out of the bullpen. Fuentes has been okay out of the bullpen now. Brady Singer has really been our only bad pitcher. I don't suspect that we're going to get anything of interest here, but we'll look. Yeah, nothing. Okay. If we have to, we'll just take him out of the rotation and put somebody else in there. I don't know. Presley hasn't been... I mean, he's been okay. 13 saves, but he's 0-5. 22 hits in 18 innings. He's walking too many. That's a bit of a surprise given his control. And we're only paying him $3 million. It's not like he's making a crap ton of money, but And then Hernandez is our only pitcher below average, and he's been quite bad. But I suspect he'll be fine, although he may have value given that he's a 3.5-star pitcher. So let's look. There's some interest. I mean, there's some names on there that are... I mean, they're all the names that show up every time you offer a deal. So I'm not too encouraged, but, you know, maybe there's something in here I didn't see. Yeah, it's all 2-star pitchers. It's not going to do me any good. I mean, I may trade them offline. And by offline, I just mean not as part of a shop a player. I may go team by team and see what's available, because none of these guys are all that riveting. Or not riveting at all, I guess I should say. Logan Reinhardt's not terrible. Dakota Hudson, no. Yeah, so nothing here that really appeals. Let's just look at prospects real quick. I don't suspect that we're going to get any interesting prospects. They're all going to be... Oh, there's a couple of 2.5, 3-star prospects in here. Jahmai Jones... Yeah, not really. Not really. Oh, bad. I say that, and then we, you know, a 2.5-star bat shows up. But yeah, no, there's nothing here that makes me say, yeah, this is the deal. So we'll just hold off for now. We're winning, so there's no reason to make a ton of moves. Offensively, Ryan Jeffers still leads us in WAR. Our catcher still has over 1,000 OPS, 161 OPS plus, good for 2.5 WAR already. Oh, Simeon's hurt. Kind of Falefa, doing well in the leadoff spot. Below average OPS plus, but that on-base percentage is solid. Bryant's having a good year. Cortez, we talked about, bouncing back. Tom and Magnum are still hitting the crap out of the ball in backup roles. Simeon knocking in some runs, but that average is super low. Lorenzo Cain's been great since we put him in the lineup. Contreras has been good as a backup. And then from there, it's been pretty bad. Ohtani's still not hitting. 692 OPS. 81 OPS plus. Hopefully he can turn that around. And Larnach, I mean, it's amazing how well we're doing considering really our two best bats aren't hitting in Ohtani and Larnach. So, and Larnach, I mean, he's striking out a crap ton. I mean, he's just not doing anything. Yeah, and then I don't really think there are any prospects to look at just yet that we didn't just look at anyway. Yeah, I mean, we have 8 in the top 500, including the number 3 prospect overall. Isaiah Jackson was a 3rd-round pick. I think I drafted him because of the pitches, but he looks like he could end up okay. All right, well, that's it for, I guess, this segment. So I'm gonna sim ahead to July, and then we'll sim through July day by day like we normally do. So I will be back on July 1st. All right, guys, we are back. It is July 1st, and we are 5 games out of first place. That's the good news. The bad news is that if you look here under the wild card, we are 11 games out of a wild card position. So I guess the question we need to ask ourselves, actually, hang on a second. Whew, okay, sorry about that. I just got back off a bike ride. I do this sometimes in the middle of my recordings just to kind of get a break, and that's what I did today. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we legitimately think we have a chance to catch the Braves? If we do, you know, then we go for it. And it's not like we have a lot of resources with which to go for it with, but within our little bubble, do we have the resources to go for it? If we don't, do we sell off? You know, do we take some of these pieces and sell off? I don't know. I mean, I think that's why we'll take July one day at a time, and we'll sort of see how it goes. I guess we'll start. We'll take a look at some of the stats before we dive into July. So, from a WAR perspective, Sandoval has actually been quite good. It looks like he's gotten a little better. No, maybe not. It looks like his overall got better, but everything else is pretty much stabilized. But he's pitched, I mean, pretty well. 3.86 FIP. Opponent's only batting .228 against him. Ohtani struggled a little bit lately, last month or so. Still has 105 strikeouts and 82 innings. He's just not hitting. And his hitting ratings are not particularly good either, so I don't suspect that he's going to get any better with the bat. So he may end up being a full-time pitcher for us. Then from there, we got a few bullpen arms that are doing pretty well. Fleming, Alvarado, Gilliam. I mentioned Sonny Gray was probably going to come down to earth a little bit, and he has, although he's gotten better this year, I think. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. His movement got better. But still, I mean, a 3.61 ERA. Montas hasn't pitched particularly well, and Singer hasn't pitched particularly well. So, I mean, we haven't had a good pitching staff this year, short of Sandoval, who's been pretty consistent, and Ohtani and Gray for about half the season. Our closer's been terrible, Ryan Presley, and we will probably look to move him this month, whether we're in contention or not, because he's just been bad. So, we'll put somebody else in his role who hopefully won't be bad. Offensively, Ryan Jeffers has had a great year. I mean, he made the All-Star team. I'll show you guys the All-Star rosters in a second. But, I mean, he's on pace for 29 home runs, 101 RBIs, and 7 WAR. I mean, his ratings don't suggest that he should be that good a hitter. But he's been great. Connor Falefa has been really good this year as well. Not hitting for much power, but he doesn't hit for a lot of power. I think defensively, he's been really good at shortstop. Chris Bryant's, again, had a really nice bounce-back season for us. Already has more home runs this year than he had all of last. I mean, if he ends up at 4 WAR, I'll take it. Cortez, we moved to second base after Marcus Semien got hurt, and he's been he's been okay there, I guess. The bat's come along, though. He's up to an 845 OPS. Lorenzo Cain is hitting almost 300. I talked about Ohtani. The bat's coming around a little bit. He's up over a 100 OPS. And remember, our offense is a little subdued, I guess, in our ballpark. It's a pitcher's park more than a hitter's park. Hang on just a second, guys. All right, sorry about that. Let's see what else. Not much else, really. Larnock's still not hitting. We moved Vientos into the starting lineup, made him our first baseman once Semien got hurt. He's hitting for a little bit of power, but not much else. So, yeah, I mean, actually, it looks like he's gotten better. Did his ratings get better? No, they've all pretty much stagnated, at least this year. So, yeah, there's just not much going. We're not very good offensively. We're not very good defensively, yet somehow we're in the playoff race. So, I don't know. So let's jump into the month of July, and we will start with international amateurs. So Jonathan Mejia is the best player available. Any offensive players that are... Not really. It looks like there's a couple of decent pitchers, and that's about it. So we're going to make an offer to Mejia. If he doesn't want to sign with us, we'll go after Madrigal, assuming he's still available. So let's see what happens there. And let's get up to the draft. We'll go through the draft, and then we will sort out potential trade options. I figure the next 11 days will give us a good idea as to where we stand. So the first game of the month against Arizona, 3-2 loss, followed by 3 at Milwaukee. Another loss. Yeah, Mejia doesn't want to sign with us, so let's go back here. Let's see if Madrigal will sign with us. Nope. So it looks like we might be sitting out of international amateur signings this go-round. Yeah. We're not going to sign anybody, and that's okay. We'll save that money, and we will put it elsewhere. Game 3. Or I guess Game 2 of the series, Game 3 of the month. Another loss, yeah, and we are starting to... no, we come back and win 3-2. Ohtani homers, Bryant homers. Ohtani gets the win. Had our pitcher batting second. You like to see that. And I'll be back one more time, guys. All right, sorry. So we're gonna bounce around here a little bit this month, this month. This is gonna be a bit of a broken month of July, so I apologize for that. I'll do my best to edit it back together. But yes, we lose again. We are 1-5 again. We're just gonna get up to the draft and then we'll start making some moves at that point. Wow. Things have gone sideways here this month. We are now 2 games under 500. Marwin Gonzalez, I didn't want to put him there. I wanted to release him. All right, so we finally win a game. So we're 42 and 43, and I don't really care if we win. Once it was clear that things weren't going to work out for us this year, that first week of the month was pretty awful. But Bryant's now got 19 home runs. Frankie Montas pitches well. See what happens in the 2 days before the draft. We win again, so back-to-back victories. Larnach hits his 13th. Cortez has a couple hits. Ohtani goes 4 2/3. Those 104 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. We lose that one. All right, so Curtis Taylor is going to go on a rehab assignment. And yeah, so we're 43 and 44, so I think it's safe to say that it's time to start making some deals and see if we can end up somewhere around here by the end of the season, I guess. First things first, let's do the draft. We are picking 14th. Who does it say our first? Who does it say our pick's going to be? Hunter Haas. Well, I mean, I should probably look at it because OSA really likes him. Our scout not so high on him. Any names in here that are familiar to us? Braden Holcomb was in our Rockies playthrough. Wasn't very good. Nate Wolgemuth, I know that name. Zion Rose. Cam Collier, who's always one of my favorites. All right, let's get to the draft. Let's see what's available to us. Let's start with pitchers. Just because. All right, so there are a bunch of... There's one 3-star pitcher, Christian Little, who's quite good. Quality number 2 arm. Caden Griffin, he's okay. Cooper Jerpy out of Oregon State. He looks to be pretty good too. He's okay. I mean, I like Little so far as a 20-year-old. Yeah, a lot of 2.5-star pitchers. Let's look at batters. Who do they think we should take? Raphael Velazquez, a catcher / first baseman with some pop. I don't think we're going to take him. Well, there's some decent talent in this draft. Right now, I think I wouldn't mind picking up Holcomb in the second round or something. I think right now, though, it's going to be the pitcher. There's a lot of talent here. I think right now, though, we are going to take Christian Little, who appears to be the best player in this draft. He's 20 years old. He's a couple years away, but 4 really good pitches, good stamina, good stuff, good movement. I mean, all well above average. So I think Christian Little's going to be the pick for us here in the first round. Let's move on. Let's go back to batters, see what's still left. Aguilar, Anderson, Cobb, Compton. Compton was somebody I was looking at in the first round. Antonio Anderson, he's okay. Taylor Aguilar. OSA likes him more than us. But he's got a good kind of leadoff profile bat with that eye and discipline. Drew Bowser. They only have him listed as 2 stars, huh? Guess he hasn't developed quite as well in this playthrough. If he's still there in the 3rd round, I might take him, though. Honestly. Just looking for names that I recognize that have turned into good players in the past. anybody here. All right, let's go back up. I think Compton is the pick. He's already 22. Contact's never going to be great. But good gap power, good eye. I mean, he's a first baseman. I mean, with those ratings, he's a first baseman. He's a first baseman who can't really hit. So, I think Hunter Haas, actually. Hunter Haas. Decent bat profile at age 21. Can play any of the infield positions. Has some decent speed. Hunter Haas. Let's look at Cade Horton. Horton's not as good a defender, so we're going to go with Hunter Haas here in the second round. How many of these? Oh, so Compton's still there. And Emmanuel Dean is still there, who's got some pop in his bat. I just want to see if there are any pitchers who are clearly hitters. Compton is still there, and so is Bowser. I think I'm going to take Bowser because he can play third base. He's 21. He usually develops into a pretty decent player. So Drew Bowser, come on down. Next pick, Drew Compton is still there. All right, now we're going to take Compton. In the fourth round, load up our minor league system with some potential bats. Emmanuel Dean. He's a little bit old. So let's do this. Let's go into our individual pitch potential and see what we see. So Hayden Dirk, 21, fly ball pitcher, 3 great pitches. He's a possibility. Luis Guerrero. He's 22. Victor Medeiros has turned into a good pitcher in other playthroughs. Ryan Bruno, he's the pick. Potential, really good stuff, good movement, good control. He already has 2 good pitches. Went to Stanford, was very good. Ryan Bruno. So we're going to take a couple pitchers now, I think. So I just want to find ones who have Alexander Rosario. Looks to be pretty good. Went to Miami. His movement is a little meh, but Jared Matheson. Nate Savino's turned into a good pitcher in some other playthroughs. Parker Wright, no. Ty Floyd, no. Wyatt Sellers, no. Let's go back up here. Yeah, Matheson. We're going to take Matheson. We may take one more pitcher, and then we'll go back and we'll look for some catchers. So Hayden Dirk. You're going to take Dirk because he's only 21, and he still has some development room. Apparently he went to college for 6 years. All right, let's look at fielding percentage or fielding ratings, as it were. Catchers, catcher ability. Campbell Smithwick is a name I recognize. He's not very good in this playthrough. Joseph King. Actually, it looks like not a bad catcher. So we're going to take Joseph King. Let's check these other guys. Take Joseph King, and we're going to make him a catcher, so I got to remember to do that. Let's go back to batting potential. We may go back to pitchers here in a minute because there doesn't appear to be a ton of talent remaining from an offensive perspective. Maybe there will be some guys who have... Yeah, like he's not a bad defensive player. Like he could play shortstop. He's got the speed. And I don't think his bat's ever going to develop, but it could. Jerry and Ely? He hasn't developed at all in this. That's a little bizarre. Caleb Ketchup. All right, Caleb Ketchup. Robbie Ashford, because he's got a little bit of power. He's good defensively, has some speed. Let's go back to individual pitch potential. Try to lock down one or two more potential pitchers. Yeah, I'm going to take Guerrero because he's already got the good stuff and good movement. If his control comes along, we could have a good pitcher there. So we'll take him. And I think we'll make one more pitcher pick. And I think it's going to be Savino, just because I've taken him in the past and he's worked out. All right. So that is 11 rounds. So we will let the AI complete that. Pretty good draft, I think. I think we did okay offensively, and I guess I could have spent more time on the draft, but I feel like these are some good picks. I feel like we got 3 good picks here in the second, third, and fourth round. I think Christian Little's going to be quite good. And it looks like we're going to save some money too. We spent a little bit more on Little, but that's fine because Haas, Bowser, and Compton are all they all want less than their slot amount. And considering I was going to take Compt, I was considering taking him in the second round, getting him in the fourth, I'm pretty happy about. So, yeah, Drew Bowser, I'm surprised that his ratings aren't higher, but he's got some ratings that tell me that he'll probably be better than this. So we'll see. Hunter Haas, good middle infielder, probably start him at second. Oh, I can't do anything until we sign him, right? And then Compton, maybe we'll just play him at first and see if the power develops. I don't know. And then Bruno looks to be pretty good too. So, all right, well, that's a good draft. So let's now let's sort out trade stuff. Love to move Simeon at this point. Wouldn't mind moving Bryant. He's having a good year. Have to think he's got some value. Presley, I want to move. Wouldn't mind moving Gray. I mean, Ohtani's our the face of our franchise, so to speak. But, I mean, 0.7 WAR with the bat, 1.6 WAR with the glove. He's not, quote-unquote, Shohei Ohtani. So we could make some moves here. We could definitely make some moves here. Let's see what sort of interest there is in Shohei. Because if we could get either a batter that is better than Ohtani or a pitcher that is better than Ohtani. They don't have to be a two-way player, but just someone who's better at either hitting than Ohtani or better at pitching than Ohtani. I mean, these aren't terrible options. They're not great, but I mean, Aaron Nola, he's really good. His ratings are good. I mean, we don't need a 30-year-old Aaron Nola, though. That's the problem. I mean, he's better than Ohtani, but we don't really need him. Should probably. I like Cleonel Perez. Stamina's not really there. I like Savale. He hasn't been all that good this year, but I like his control. I like the fact that he's a ground ball pitcher. Owen Miller. He's pretty good. Lambert Marquez is a good pitcher, but again, we don't need a 28-year-old Andrew Marquez. Should probably look at prospects just to see what options are out there. Since we are getting a lot of teams that are offering us 4 and 5 players, I have to think that somebody would be willing to offer us some sort of prospect. Josh Hader with the Mets, Pete Alonso, Dalton Jeffries. Yeah, I mean, these aren't terrible offers. They're not particularly good. Luis Castillo's really good, but he's out and he's expensive. Maybe we trade for Jordan Hicks and then try to turn around and trade Hicks. Oh, Tyler Glasnow. As much as I would love to bring Tyler on, and those of you who have watched my Rockies playthrough know the love affair I have with Tyler Glasnow, I don't know that would be the right move for us at this. Are you kidding me? I mean, we would be absolutely batshit crazy not to take this deal, right? Right? I mean, am I out of my mind here? 24-year-old Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is signed to a 7-year contract, 8 years, $154 million. So 7 years after this one, 14, 22, 26, 26, 26. So 4 years at $26 million. I mean, this is the middle of the order bat we've been looking for. I mean, yeah. So what other option? What else can we do here? What else can we do to improve our team? I mean, if you want to get rid of him that badly, I'm just throwing people out here to see if see how badly they want to get rid of him. So I want to see something. Okay, so it's just Ohtani. I wanted to see if maybe they would offer somebody else for him. Wow. Okay. So we have a new stud coming in. Do you also want Presley? Okay, so they also want Presley. So can we get somebody who is as good as Presley but younger? I mean, Bednar's pretty good. So they don't have anybody that they would be willing to give up, or that they would want in order to give us Groshans. Andy Martin's the number 33 prospect. They won't give him to us. Denenberg? Would you give me him? Yeah, these are the only prospects in my system, so I'm not prepared to do that. He's 23. He's in Double-A. He's pitching pretty. I mean, it's only been 4 games, but pretty good numbers in 4 games. Okay, well, let's remove him. Trenton Denholm. Okay, so they like him more than Denenberg. Martinez. No, they don't want to give him up. They like the power in the bat. Eric Pardino. Nope. And this is nuts. I mean, will you give me Bednar? Okay, you want a 38-year-old Max Scherzer? You can have him. I really would like Groshans. I mean, he's the number 31 prospect, so that's probably not going to happen. But this is crazy. So, if we did this, it would limit our money for the next couple of years. And he's not quite, the Vlad Guerrero that, that we know, but it looks like he's leveled off over the last. It looks like he's been really dropping consistently. You can see in 2021 he was a 92, or excuse me, where's his overall? Right here. So his contact has gone from a potential 100 to a potential 79. since 2021. His power has gone from a potential 70 to a potential 58. His eye has gone from a potential 68 to a potential 50. His defense has gotten better. I'm just afraid that, you know, around here, I mean, he's only 24. It's about time this contract is up. He's going to basically be as old as Ohtani is now. So it feels like a no-brainer. I'm concerned about the contract. I mean, 2021, he put up 7 WAR, then he was down to 2 points. I mean, he's on pace for 32 and 119. He's on pace for 4 WAR. Hitting 311. So we're in the middle of this season here. So next year it's 14, then 22, and then 4 years at 26. So this will take him till he's 30. Right? 30, 31, something like that. Oh, boy. I just want to take a look and see. Did I miss anything? Let's just look at prospects real quick. I think I'm going to pull the trigger. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I want to do my due diligence here. Are there any prospects that are, you know, that can give us 80% of what Vlad can? Nope. All right. We are going to pull the trigger. We are going to bring in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and David Bednar in exchange for Shohei Ohtani, Ryan Presley, and Max Scherzer. Let's do it. All right. So fan interest almost crashed because we traded Ohtani, and it only improved slightly because we picked up Vlad Guerrero. I'm iffy. I'm iffy on that deal, but we will see how it goes. So we now have 12 pitchers on our big league roster. We have to call somebody up. It's going to be Doval. Active roster is full, so I need to make another deal. I think Larnach probably has the most value. And I got Colton Cowser on the back end waiting to come in next season. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at prospects first. Alek Manoah. Fronder Veras doesn't look to be all that bad. Yolqui Cespedes. Michael Triana. Gabriel Arias is an number 91 prospect, an all-glove shortstop, who's also part of our Rockies playthrough and put up a couple of good seasons. Spencer Schwellenbach. He's a two-way player. Can pitch. Good bullpen arm. Maybe we see if we can get something else from Colorado other than just the closer. And you guys know I don't normally sit here and make these deals with you, but I've got to make a decision here to clear up a roster spot to call up the pitcher. Let's go talk to Colorado. You advise against making that deal. Okay, so it's only Larnach that you are interested in. What about prospects? I had to check. Had to check. Judd Fabian, he's okay. I don't think they'd give him to me, but yeah. I mean, I like Schwellenbach, I guess. I guess maybe I actually don't like him as much. So let's try regulars now. Wow, a lot of names on here. Okay. Austin Hayes, we know, can hit a little bit. But that's sort of a sideways move, trading a 26-year-old outfielder for a 28-year-old outfielder. Although Hayes is a better fielder. We don't need a first baseman now. Wouldn't mind a starting pitcher, truth be told. And a lot of... He's not bad. Omar Estevez. Getting a lot of position players, which is sort of backwards. It usually doesn't work like that. Sam Henkes. Trevor Stefan is 27. Little too old for my liking. I would prefer, if I'm going to get a starting pitcher, I'd like him to be, no more than about 25 or so. 24, 25, somewhere in there. Second baseman. Jaron Duran from Kansas City, who got him from the Red Sox, but again, it's a lateral move. Right age, he's just not very good. Get Reed Foley from the Mets. No. The Padres have some interest. Reggie Lawson. Chris Paddock. It's not really all that good. It's not really impressed with what people are interested in giving me. All right. So we have to send somebody down. It's gonna be Fraley. Okay. That's fine. We will DFA him. We gotta call up a pitcher. Let's call up Doval. Let's go back to our pitching staff. And Fuentes or Fleming. Let's give Fleming another shot because of the control. Let's see what it does with our bullpen. Let's see what Craig Biggio chooses to do with our bullpen. Riley Gilliam is our closer. Okay, that's fine. Lineups, Vlad, stick him in there at first base. So Mangum, let's see, he's better against righties. Tom, I think Mangum is going to be our new right fielder for now. Let's move everybody up. Do something like that. Let's look at here. Let's get him here in ours. And when I'm not necessarily done, but we are going to let's get Vientos some time in right field. Maybe if we can make him kind of a I don't know what you want to call it. If we can make him like a super utility guy, he might have some more value. So, all right. So that's first deal we made. So we'll play about another week, and then we'll go back in and we'll see how things go. First game against the Cubs is a 6-5 win. Vlad goes 1 for 4 in his debut. Larnach takes to getting moved down in the lineup, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Gilliam blows the save but gets the win. Game 2 against the Cubs. It's a 2-1 loss. Vlad hits his first home run for us. Game 3. 2-0 win. Vlad gets the day off. Montas, look at Frankie Montas. Man, 7 innings, 5 hits, 10 strikeouts. Back at 500. We'll play this series at St. Louis, and then we will go back in and see about making some additional moves. Another 3-2 victory. Vlad with 2 more hits. Sonny Gray picks up his... We may try to move Gray, but last time I checked, there was literally no value for Sonny Gray, which is shocking. All right, so we lose again. We're 46 and 47. Third place in the division, middle of the pack in the National League, so that's good for a middle of the pack draft pick. Have any of our... Speaking of draft picks, have any of them signed yet? Bowser did. Haas did. Bruno did. All right, so we need to... draft history. Who was the player? Was it Dirk? No. Who was the player that I wanted to make a... Joseph King. Wanted to make him a catcher. Bam! 1.5-star catcher. Fantastic. It's still not very good, but that's fine. All right. Trades. So we still have some money for next year, and we'll also bump our ticket prices again. So, and our scouting and development are pretty much where they need to be. So we'll bump both of those to 24 next year and just sort of see where we stand. But so we got Vlad. He's locked up long term. We'll see how that works out. But I'm pretty excited about having him. He's the best bat we have in the lineup right now, obviously. Pierce Johnson is garbage. He'll be gone, but there's no interest in him. Sonny Gray, let's see if we retain the rest of his contract. Does anybody want Sonny Gray? Last time we tried this, I got like 3 names. A few more names here, but nobody that's... Reyes is a good pitcher, but his contract is up this year. So, that just serves me no purpose. If we do prospects, we'll get nothing. Yeah. All right. So, what other options do we have? Again, Bryant is somebody that I don't think has any value, even though he's having a really nice year. Yeah. I guess I don't get that. I guess I just don't understand how the game works sometimes. Yes, I know his ratings aren't fantastic, but he's on pace for 4.5 WAR. He's on pace for 35 home runs. He's putting up a 900 OPS, a 134 OPS plus in a ballpark that restricts offense, and nobody has any interest in him at all. Just seems weird to me. I don't know. All right, so there aren't many other options. We could try to move Sandoval and Singer. We could try to move. There's some interest in Sandoval, but again, moving a 26-year-old pitcher for what? If we can get a 23-year-old pitcher that is similar, that would be worth it. But is anybody actually going to do that? Doesn't appear so. Yeah, that we may be done on the trade block this year. Yeah, I think we might be done. Let's just quickly look at the trade block. I mean, I'd pick up Jose Ramirez. I don't know that I could re-sign him. And are there any pitchers that are interesting we could get? Again, Jordan Hicks, trade for him and then turn around and deal him. But what would it take? Like, if we start with our prospects. I mean, which of these prospects am I willing to give up right now? Not many of them, to be completely honest. McCade Brown has turned into a good pitcher. I mean, his rating, his potential jumped up. How's Johnson doing? He's actually getting better, I think. Yeah, his contact is improving. Yeah, we don't really, let's just try it. Let's see what he comes back to us with. Let's see what he comes back to us with. No way. So he wants Cortez or McCade Brown. Yeah, and I'm not prepared to do that. Carlos Cortez and Vlad Guerrero are kind of the future of our offense. Although let's just see. I mean, right? It can't hurt. Technically, nobody is untouchable on our team. So let's just see. Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's what happens when you trade on very hard. So let's just see. I'm curious if he has any value now to any other team. He does. Right now, I could trade him just to get the contract off the books, but I don't need to get the contract off the books. Yeah, so there are a few options, but I don't need to make any right now. So I think we're done. We make the one big move to bring in Vlad Guerrero, who hasn't hit particularly well since coming over, but it's still early. I think we just continue to lean on our prospects and try to rebuild, and rebuilding around a 24-year-old flawed Vlad Guerrero, to me, is better than building around a flawed 29-year-old Shohei Ohtani. Vlad with a triple and an RBI. Let's get through the end of the month so we can look at stats and our prospects. So we lose there. Trade proposal. They want to send me a 34-year-old. 34-year-old Adam Eaton. No, thank you. So guys, let me know what you think of the deal. Let me know what you think of the Vlad for Shohei deal. I don't think long-term it's going to hamstring us all that much because, again, we're going to have so much money under the cap here or under our budget here over the next couple of years as we build fan interest, as things slowly get better for us. So I'm not concerned about that. We have a few decent pieces offensively. Cortez, Guerrero, Vientos, kind of for life at the top of the order. Our pitching staff is in rough shape, but, that can be fixed via free agency. Not this year, and I was never anticipating on winning this year. And that's part of the reason I pulled the trigger on the Vlad deal, because, again, he's up to 326 for us all of a sudden. So all of a sudden he's hitting well. 4 home runs in 13 games, so I will take it. To me, it just makes more sense to work around a 24-year-old Vlad Guerrero who might be, because we weren't going to re-sign Ohtani, right? After next season, we weren't going to re-sign him. So, now we have a 24-year-old locked up long-term, and I think that was a good deal. You guys tell me what you think. So we have 3 games against Pittsburgh here, followed by 1 against Atlanta before we go to the end of the month. 7-1 victory. And I will probably, once again, since we're not in it, I will probably play through the rest of the season offline. So when we come back again next week, we'll do the off-season episode. Vlad continues to hit well for us, as does Jeffers. Brian stuck on 20 home runs. Sandoval pitches well. Game 3 against Pittsburgh. 5-1 win. Jeffers 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Montas gets another win. All right, I think we're done trading, so let's sim the last game of the month at Atlanta. It's a 2-1 loss. Vlad Guerrero Jr. wins the National League Batter of the Month award. He hit .350 for us. So far, so good. We didn't win any other award, but we win the Batter of the Month. Any development from any of our youngsters? Casey Sauk got a little better. It's up to 2.5 stars. Looks to be a pretty good third base prospect. Hayden Dirk, we drafted this year. He's already getting better. Drew Compton, we drafted this year. He's already getting better. Yeah, he got better. Wow. Okay. Drew Bowser. Yep, and there we go. I knew it. He gained an extra star. He gained an extra half star already in the first month. So that was a good pick for us. Jackson Lynn was a pick last year. Did our pitcher sign? He did. Okay, so where is he? Right there. How's he doing? Really, he doesn't belong there. He belongs here. So we're going to do this and this and this, and we are going to disable. We're going to do the same thing with all these guys. Disable. And he needs to go up. Bowser will probably stay there. He'll stay there. Hunter Haas, he will stay there. Johnson, and they're all listed as shortstops. He needs to be second. He needs to be a second baseman. Game strategy. Put him at second. Council. And Bowser needs to be made a third baseman. So let's look at the lineups. I want to make sure they have Johnson in the lineup. Okay, so they do have Johnson in the lineup. Johnson, Haas, Bowser. That's what I wanted. Okay, cool. And then I think that's it. Yep, I think that is it. So, all right, guys. So that is going to do it for this episode. Like I said, when we come back, next episode next week, it'll be the end of the regular season. We will do the off season at that point. So once again, guys, let me know what you think of the deal we made. I like it. I think it was pretty effective, but I may be looking at it with blinders on. You let me know what you think, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.